Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 20th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to check out some image properties in CSS. So as you can see, I have a document opened in my text editor Notepad++, and it's called image.html. And in this document, within the style section in the head section, I have two style rules applied to H1 and H2 level headings respectively. So I've changed the font size for all H1 level headings to 26 points. I've changed the font size for H2 level headings to 18 points. And then inside the body section, we really don't have much. We just have an H1 level heading that reads top 4 tennis players in the world. And then we've got names of Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Andy Murray in H2 level headings. And of course, we have their images. So at the time of recording of this tutorial, these guys are not the top 4 ranked tennis players in the world. Novak, Roger, and Andy Murray make it to top 4, but Rafa unfortunately is ranked 8th, if I'm not wrong. He's had some injuries, but anyway, these are no doubt the big 4 in tennis. That's what they are referred to as collectively. So, the way this page is, if you would open it in Google Chrome, this is how it would look. So you have your top heading, and then you have 4 images. And if you guys have noticed, the width of each of the 4 images is the same. The height might be different. So Rafael Nadal's image is obviously greater in height as compared to Andy Murray's image, or Roger's image. But the width is indeed the same for all 4 images. So the properties that we're going to check out are border, height, width, and opacity, and these are the four most commonly used properties with images in CSS. So we have inline style rules to check out each of the 4 properties, and let's apply a border to Novak's image and see how it works. So let's say you want a 5 pixels thick border, so you'll first type 5 pixels, and let's say you want it to be solid, right? And we're going to have a tutorial on borders a little bit later in the series, wherein I'll talk to you about the different kinds of borders that you can have around HTML elements through CSS. But for this particular example, we're going to use a solid border that's green in color. So that's the third argument that you have to type, and then of course you have to put a semicolon to terminate your style rule. I'll go to my browser and refresh the page, and there you go. You see a 5 pixels thick green solid border around Novak's image, right? And people mostly use black colored borders, and they use borders around images when they want the images to somehow stand out of the page, so that the images have a clear boundary or a definition, and are obviously separated from the text. The next property that we're going to check out is height, and we're going to change the height of Roger Federer's image to 550 pixels, let's say. Of course, you have to put a semicolon to terminate, and your browser is going to maintain the aspect ratio of the image. So when you change the height, it's not just the height that changes, the width will also change, and there is a way in which you can prevent that from happening, right? But this is actually quite nice, because this prevents your image from being distorted. So in some ways it's good, but obviously if you only want to change one dimension, then that's also possible. The next property that we're going to check out is width, and we're going to change the width of Rafael Nadal's image to, let's say, 480 pixels, and I'll save the file, and I'll go to my browser again and refresh it, and there you go. You can see now that Rafael Nadal's image is greater in width as compared to Andy Murray's image, right? Earlier they were at the same level, and now this image is wider. So that's what you can do with the width property. The last and final property that we're going to check out in this tutorial is opacity. If suppose you want a fairly transparent image, then you would put a value closer to 0 for this particular property, whereas if you want your image to be not transparent at all, just be the way it is, and you would pass a value 1, right? So default is 1. If you don't mention anything here, it will consider 1 as the value. But if you want like considerable transparency in your image, then you would use a value like 0.3 or something, and I'll pass in that, put a semicolon, save the file. When I refresh it in my browser, There you go. You can see that Andy Murray's image is now fairly transparent. So these are the four image properties that I wanted to talk about in this tutorial. I hope you guys had fun watching this video, and you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.